Indeed.
Hope it's going well. How you been playing anything? How the combo deck's working out?
I took the Boros Storm deck to the FNM, and
Okay.
I kept a record with my life pages as to like what it was. I don't remember offhand, but I can grab it real quick.
Nice.
Let's see. Keep it in the. Oh no! Did we take the Storm deck over to the new house? We're in the middle of moving, so I'm moving all my Magic stuff places right now. I think I can remember how the night went. I got the first match against a guy who was new to Modern. I was able to storm off in one game, and the sideboard plan. I think I ended up going like an even record, and of all my wins, it was split even between actually storming off and just using the sideboard hollow one plan. So it was actually pretty nice to get to see everything work. Yeah. Is really all that there is to truly say about it. Certainly slower than your average Modern Storm deck, and not necessarily worth doing outside of casual play, I don't think. But it was definitely a lot of fun, and it gave me a new perspective on what Modern could be.
Yeah, that's kind of what it's supposed, I guess, meant to be. To be able to play weird stuff. Yeah, here, let me share the screen. For anyone listening, we're talking about deck we talked about on the previous call. Storm, basically a Burgee Steamkin weird storm graveyard deck with Showdown of the Skulls.
Yeah.
Which is a vintage playable card advantage engine. So
I will say, I did get a chance to play against one of the managers of the card shop in the FNM.
Cool.
And he was on, I want to say it was a Dimir fish deck. Dimir, what is that tribe called? Merfolk.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a unique list. I hadn't seen anything like it before. But in one of the games, I had managed to like storm off, putting him down to 1 because he had the counter spell for something earlier in the turn, and I just had to pass, and I gave him a turn, and he had me on a 1 turn clock, and he passed back, and I was just able to top deck one of the 1 mana burn spells and steal 1 damage. So one of those just one of those exciting moments.
Yeah, I mean, that's a cool thing. It's kind of a burn deck.
Yeah.
You don't need to combo off. I mean, yes, I mean, there's matchups like just get a Steamkin going. That'll kill someone pretty quick.
Yeah. 2-4 still hits pretty hard.
That's cool that you actually got an opportunity to play it competitively. Sweet, yeah. So that just be your project. Just keep working on it, and I think as more Magic is being played, and I think Modern is going to come back huge.
Oh yeah.
And so just keep messing with it. Sounds fun.
My local metal is always interesting because we're close to a college, so we get a lot of newer Modern players who
that's
jump
cool,
in.
then, that you're playing something that's even like, it's a cool environment for you to play your rogue deck.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and that's just it. Since there's a lot of like younger people messing around in the game, you see a lot of people who are like interested to brew. So there's a lot of interesting decks floating around that I don't see, on lists online and whatnot. So
yeah, cool, and that get you good ideas. I mean, that was like the old thing. Like, there's like the famous story where like at Worlds one year, the Japanese players built like this like green white, like just like a deck that no one had seen, like some weird, like it was like a greater good. It was, I guess it was based around greater good and Yosei, which when it dies, it taps 5 of the permanents, and greater good you can sack a creature. So you would just like lock them down, and it played like locks it on Hierarch and Umezawa's Jite, and it just like just some weird like green white control mid range deck, and they just like dominated the tournament. And the story was that supposedly they found it like some casual player like at like the local standard event had this deck, and they just like saw it, took it, tuned it, and then won the worlds with it.
I mean, that's
So
how you
you
find
never know.
unique ideas, it seems.
I think nowadays the ideas are found quicker by the hive mind people, and it's harder to find those gems. But I mean, it's out there.
Yeah,
Especially with
I mean,
new
there's
cards
always
coming all the time. Cards are better than ever, so there's just more opportunity to break formats with them, or make it work at least.
And then obviously, like anytime you take an unknown deck to any kind of event and people aren't, you know, they don't have a sideboard plan for it, they've never seen it before, you're opening them up for misplays. I think that was in one of the emails that was sent out by the group a while back.
Yeah, for sure. That's
there's
definitely true.
To playing rogue sometimes.
Yeah, it does have an advantage for sure. Especially as people seem so reliant on like sideboard guides, and as things become more and more defined and figured out, it's almost like more people are more rigid than ever. So any sort of change like even gives you more of an advantage, because it's almost like everyone's playing the same thing.
Yeah, before Spirits became popular, I had been brewing with Spirits, and I had a lot of success locally because of that idea. People didn't know the cards. So, but yeah, what were you planning for tonight?
Yeah, I was basically just drafting. I've just been drafting, and there's Vintage Cube, so I thought hop in. And Kai was in the call last week, and he had he played a PTQ and like went 7-2 and had he said he had like an awesome deck and a pretty cool game. So if he showed up, I was planning on going over those.
Kai has showed up.
Oh, hey. There he is.
Hey Taylor, hey Adam, how's it going?
How's it going?
Speak of the devil and he will come.
Good to see you. We're just talking about Tyler's Rogue deck, Red Storm deck, but I was going to do this cube, but if you have any replays from your PTQ or anything recent, I would love to go over some. It's been a while since we've gone over anything. So anything you want to
I'm
share?
on a different computer,
okay.
so I don't have access to the replays, unfortunately.
Okay.
But I just had a 5-0
nice.
for the league. I felt pretty good because the deck is it's not busted, and a lot of close games. So one thing I did this time I thought was really helpful was before every game, there's like little waiting moments, right? Like you wait for opponent to mulligan or stuff like that. So I just close my eyes.
Wow.
And just visioning myself like pause on some tough decisions, or just envision myself calculating the damage for next turn, or plan for next turn, or envisioning myself make a mistake and laugh about it, and move on from it.
Wow.
I thought that was really helpful because it came up like it often came up like opponents top decking and they drew the removal, right? It's really frustrating when you're gonna win next turn. And when those moments happen, like I was able to like, okay, I knew it, I already envisioned it before, so I just move on from it. So I thought that's pretty helpful. There's also like super close combats. Like I remember there was a combat, like opponents gonna have Coma next turn. Coma the serpent, like it's busted, like get a 3/3 every turn. So he get that. I know he has that in hand. So basically he has this this 5/4. When it dies, you can search a creature.
Oh wow.
So that creature died. So I know he had that. And I did tons of calculation, and I went for alpha to put opponent down to 3. And then he untaps, play Coma, and then I untap, play the giant wizard that can deal damage when it entered the play. So that deal 2 damage to him, and then I alpha, and he can only block 3 creatures, and my 1/1 get through.
Wow.
I thought that was pretty good.
Doing
Feel
the
really
math.
good about pretty good about that game.
Yeah, so beating bombs too.
It's
Yeah.
exciting to hear how you're able to find a solution to what seemed to be a big problem back when we were talking a lot more.
Oh yeah.
Stuck in kind of the emotion of a game, and seems like a great way to deal with it. Is just to think ahead. You know, how would I normally respond to this? Kind of go ahead and get that emotion out, and then you can just play it normally.
Yeah, exactly. And when you envision it, the more details, the better. Like I envision myself like wearing that white T-shirt, and clicking that gray button, when I say yes. And then the more details, the better. And it just have you. I think our brain remember things better when it's like an image that you have emotional attachment to. Not just like a number has no connections, right? So I try to envision as much details as possible, and then just try to be more familiar with this scenario. And when that scenario comes up, I will just be prepared for it.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, people who the best memory people who can memorize an amazing amount of information.
Oh yeah,
they use
memory palace. Yeah,
they use exactly memory palace. That's a good term for it. I don't know if I remember that. I have to get better at memory. That they have a mind, like a room of, or I guess a whole palace of images of like people and objects that they have an emotional attachment to, and they
exactly. Yeah, and I tried it once, like to remember a list of 20 things.
Okay.
Like it's like a pear, apple, or something. So you basically you walk into the room, Donald Trump holding that pear, and then Michael Jordan come in with the apple, right? Like you have emotional attachment with those people,
right?
And then when you look at it, you don't see that, you see all the connection, and then you remember things better. So basically, all you need to do is just walk through the room, then you remember all the cards. That's how they remember a deck of cards.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Remember a deck of cards.
It's hard. It's hard. It's really hard. Like
a cool thing to practice.
Yeah.
And then it's also just visualization, like your technique, just visualizing the competition and you overcoming obstacles and you figuring out the tough decisions and doing everything right, which is great. And then also it has this aspect of like,
you're
also just playing the game. Like you're actually saying, okay, if he top decks this removal spell, what am I? Not only am I going to overcome it, what am I actually going to do in the game? Like is that how I lose? Like, why did that come to mind? Maybe that's because you realize that's like the biggest threat.
Exactly. So basically, when we are in a game, like nothing should be like bothering us, including the thoughts of, oh my God, I'm gonna lose. Oh my God, I'm gonna win. Right? All those thoughts, like, oh my God, your top deck. Like all those thoughts has nothing to do with the game itself. Like we can think about it, even like, oh, I made a mistake that causing all this problem. Like we can think about it after the game, but during the game, like only thing can consume our mental energy should be the game itself.
Right. And what's coming ahead in the game as well. Not dwelling on mistakes or mulligans or sideboarding issues. And then it's just like almost like a type of meditation in the game, because you're also, I like that it's also possible to be distracted away from the game by other things. Especially in I find especially in paper where there's other games around you and noises and gathering points and people on the speaker, where if you can just have that process of focusing in on the game and zoning everything out, and the best way to zone things out is focus in on the game, what you're doing. So just take that breath. So because those moments, I know those moments, especially as someone who tends to play quicker than their opponent, and I'm just waiting on them thinking, and it's easy to just let my mind wander. So just always having that habit of every time you feel that sense creeping in, to just refocus, take a breath.
Yep.
Close your eyes.
Who cares? That's focusing on the game. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
I do
like
have
that
the
a lot.
screenshots. I do have the screenshots where
Okay.
I found out the game that I could have done a lot better. I mean, if you guys are interested, I can share.
Yeah, let you do that.
Absolutely.
It's
I made
it's
you
quite-
host.
it's quite interesting. Okay, so share. Wait, is share. Can you guys see it?
Yep.
Okay, so maybe this is too complex. Let's go to a easier. So there's a couple of turns earlier. I noticed a mistake. I mean, this is close, but I think I chose a slightly worse line. So my options are like a spirit or outrider. At the time, I was thinking, okay, I want to spend more mana, so I just just slam the outrider. But if I play the spirit, it incentivizes the opponent to attack, and then I can use my intruder to blow him out. And the only thing opponent can really blow me out is with a removal, and that's not what like a blue-green decks usually have. So I think the right play should be play the bear, and get a snowland tapped, come in tapped, and prepare to eat the 4/4. And that actually this play matters a lot. So if the 4/4 is not there, I could have won this game. But okay.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
It would have been a trade for the intruder in the 4/4, right? Because your spirit would have only been 3 power.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Still,
I would take the trade for 1/2 for any days, right?
I was just double checking that my math was
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It's gonna be like a 2/4 eat my 1/2, and I mean it's likely opponent gonna order. The opponent's definitely gonna order 1/2 first. Yeah. So
It seems so easy to just bind it and outrider, but then your intruder never does anything.
Oh yeah. I think I wasn't even considering binding. I mean, I was considering binding in the beginning, but opponent will have bigger creatures, right? And my 5/5 already beats the 4/4.
Yeah, and
There's
your
no reason to.
your intruder isn't gonna. This is the best opportunity. Like this is the moment. Like everything lined up for this intruder is actually gonna kill a 5-drop. Right?
Exactly.
Yep.
So
And
yeah,
bind
it's risky,
down
but if you can
like
figure out like there's not really pump spells, there's he's probably not playing that bounce spell and seal that much.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's the type of play that wins games.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But opponent did draw pretty well. Okay, so here's a couple of turns later. So you see here, I did bind the 6/6 next turn,
right? Yeah.
Which is really nice. But the opponent follow up with a copy, snow copy, and copy the 6/6. There's some trades happened. So here's my board. So my options are, it's painful to watch this. So okay, basically, when I look at this land opponent played, I automatically assume opponent has the mana, even I kill the ring. But somehow I just assume this land can produce red.
Right.
So the right line is actually pretty easy. I just broken wings the replicating ring and play Thoughthief and put a line on top of opponent's library if that's possible. And then next turn I just a Strider tap the 8/8 and alpha or do something else. Right. So that obviously that's the right line. But I didn't see that. So what's the next best thing I can do? So at that moment I was pretty scared because my carry be the 8/8 and this land is about to kill my land and get a 4/4. So I thought I have to get aggro. So I play the Berg Strider, taps the 8/8 and alpha. And prepare to pump.
Yeah, the alpha is just too. It's not worth giving up the. I guess you trade the 3/3.
Yeah, I trade the 3/3 for 6 damage basically. So for 6 damage from the bear. Basically. So opponent either trade with the 6/4 or eat the 3/3. That is very likely. Yeah.
So the 3/3 is so valuable defensively.
Exactly.
Such a good blocker.
Yes. Yes,
that
that's the
you
other
can-
mistake I made. I was somehow I just treat this 3/3 as a bear, as a hill giant.
Yeah.
That ability is not it's kind of weird to me. Like
Yeah,
I
it is
don't
weird.
What is the
really
clause
grasp.
on the draw 3?
Three
When this
creatures
guy
die.
dies, yeah, when this guy
Okay.
dies, and if there are 3 or more creature dies, you get 3 cards.
Gotcha.
So it's like if you double block something and all of them die, sort of.
Yeah.
Or
thing.
board
I think
wipes. Or board
Yeah.
wipes.
Oh right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I lose actually. But you guys will see. Okay. So
He's just gonna eat it here. Yeah. And he's at 23. Like he's just nowhere near.
but I'm gonna deal a lot of
Well,
damage.
I guess.
right?
I guess the real answer is to do the math. So.
Exactly. So
he'll
you
eat
eat the
the
3/3.
3/3. He takes 10,
Take
11,
10,
12,
12,
13.
13,
Okay.
14, 15. If I pump, it's 15, right?
You have the mana to do that. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do. So it's 15 damage.
Oh wow.
And then if opponent blank, even has a 4/4, I mean I can still kill him. So that's why I went for it.
So then you attack. So then he kills your land. He has 2 blockers.
He has 2 blockers to my
Two big
to
ones.
my 4 attackers, right?
And you deal 9.
Yeah.
Oh, then
Yeah.
you should attack and kill him because his mana is so like you're already accounting for him using most of his mana
Yeah.
for the land. So even if he draws a removal spell or creature, like he probably can't do both. So you actually have him pretty much covered. And at that point, it's probably worth giving up the creature for that. You have to do that.
So it's okay. So I think alpha it's okay, but can we do better, right? That's the question.
I don't.
So
think
what
so.
if
The other thing to remember
Yeah.
here is that land can't activate. Is the opponent doesn't have the mana, and that was the confusion originally. So
I overlooked that. So I was now planning
exactly.
to broken wing the replicating ring.
right.
So opponent will have it.
With the knowledge of knowing that land can't activate, is alpha still the correct
Well,
play?
it can with the ring.
Not alone. Isn't it double red?
No, it's double green.
Oh, it is 1 red and double green. Gotcha.
Yeah, double green. Yeah. So that's why it's clearly I should have just killed the replicating ring and play the Thought Thief and set up for better alpha.
Yeah,
next
it's like
turn.
a nice time walk situation.
Yeah. But again, no. Given I made a mistake, but given what I had, like, are there anything better than alpha?
I don't
Right.
think so.
So how about we attack not Inga, but the rest of the creatures? Opponent, the best thing opponent can do is either trade with the bear or either 1/2. So effectively, we're trading 1/2 for 6 damage. That sounds like a much better trade.
We probably will trade with the 5/4.
Yeah, if we take the 5/4, then
Deal
opponent
10.
then we trade, right? Then opponent has no blockers next turn. Then we're gonna do a lot of
So
damage.
let's see what you deal. You would deal 10 to 13, and then you have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, exactly 13.
Yeah.
So then you have to determine what that.
Which one is better, right? Like
Right.
with Inga, like I can play around, the 8/8 cannot attack into me later.
Yeah, that is
I'm
probably
okay-
better.
I'm okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
the fact that he goes to
Exactly.
that you save a resource. I guess the question is, can you beat if you alpha? Can you beat a Bergstrider? I guess no. I guess Bergstrider gets you either way. You have to determine what more can you beat versus.
I can be the Wrath, right? Because I will draw 3 cards.
If you have the Inga, yeah. I wonder if there's
Right.
things. Is there like a
Yeah.
life gain? Like if he draws a Raven, if he draws a 6/6 gain 4, can you beat that if you alpha?
Then I'm not beating that anyways.
10, 11,
Right.
12, 13, 14, 15. He goes to 8s.
So how do we lose to Bergstrider? Because our Bergstrider would still be untapped as a 4/4 in the Inga Runai, so it's not like they're going to be able to just tap something down.
Well,
and
no,
attack with a kill.
those are just things you have to figure out. I'm not.
Yeah.
I think that the Strider would stop us because if he stops one of our creatures, we wouldn't have.
Because we need every creature to attack next turn, to get into enough damage. So if they have a Bergstrider, they will tap some of our creature. It won't untap next turn for us to attack. Yeah. So because of this, playing around removals and the value of Inga, so if we decide to Bergstrider attack, then we should attack with 5-5, 5-4, 1-2, 1-2, 3.
Yes.
Okay. Anyways, let's say I made a
That's
mistake
pretty
at
cool
alpha.
puzzle.
Yeah, yeah, and also as you can see here, I'm spending a lot of time thinking. I don't have 7
Right.
minutes left. And
Mm.
yeah, so now it's the second decision. Like what do I have to attack? Right. So basically, yeah, here I attack. Yeah, I tapped it, I attack. Now do I pump? Right. There's that interesting decision.
There's no reason not to, right? Because you're not using.
There's a reason. There's a reason. What if opponent has board wipe? Like then I can save my 2-3.
Oh, right. It does give indestructible.
What board
Yeah.
wipe? I guess he could have the black snowboard wipe.
He can't. He doesn't have double black, but he can. He may have.
Oh,
like,
right.
Yeah, there's a blue one. There's a blue one. Yeah. The saga. So if we count the damage, right? So if we don't pump, we'll put the opponent down to 9. Then next turn, opponent will have let's say opponent have 2 4-4s, and then opponent will block a 6-4 and a 5-5, and we get into exactly 9. So waste pumping.
Yeah.
So that's enough damage, right? So there's no reason for us to pump. So
Mm.
that's where I made the other mistake. So I pumped, put opponent down to 5, and the opponent. Oh, I didn't have that. So yeah, so
you
opponent
got punished so bad.
Yeah, I got punished like the maximum way. So opponent untap, top deck, the white tutor spell that gains 3 life,
Mm.
and tutor a legendary or snow card. So he tutored the saga, board wiped, and pass back to me. So basically, I had my 4th. So basically, I have 5-5. I have a 4-4. Opponent has his 4-4. That's the board next turn. So luckily, I top deck, the 2 mana 1/1 that come in with a counter. So I made my 4-4 a 5-5. Then I double attacked, and opponent had to chomp. So I put the opponent down to 5. I still have a 2-5. I have 2-5-5. The opponent have 4-4, but opponent's 8-8 will be untapping.
Mhm.
And then next turn, opponent top deck coma.
Yeah.
And then there's
so
nothing I can do about that.
they really just had all of the things. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean I could have got this game locked up, like
Right.
like from the turn, from here, right? Like maybe here not locked up, but I think attacking with Inga is very punishing. Like imagine I drew 3 after the board wipe, right? I can just put three more things on the board, even though opponent may have coma. Who cares? I may be able to just alpha and win.
Yeah. You can go wider.
Yeah,
It's
it's a really good game. Yeah.
Definitely.
I guess you're
definitely
both-
tight corners there.
Mhm.
You're both like the kind of like blue green is considered pretty good archetype, like kind of like too good. This is a mirror match between 2 pretty good decks. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Fighting through bombs. Pretty sweet.
Yeah, I made 2 major mistakes, I think. One is I didn't value the Inga correctly. And the second mistake was I didn't count the damage correctly. I mean, strategically. Like I know there's a mistake.
Right.
I overlooked the replicating ring, but everybody makes that type of mistakes.
Yeah.
It's not strategic, right? So strategic mistake was like I undervalued the Inga. I wasn't clear like the trade between like I thought like okay, I trade my 3/3 for a lot of damage.
Yeah.
That's probably okay, right? But
And then the pump
yeah.
was just unnecessary for the calculations.
Yeah,
would have been
the pump
necessary,
was the
yeah.
calculation. Yeah, the pump was definitely the calculation. So that's why I really need to calculate the damage for next turn. Like envision the combat afterwards and see the attacks look like next turn.
Yeah, it's really when it comes down to it, like limited, like I guess all of Magic, there needs to be a lot more calculation of these things, calculating ahead. Like if in theory, if we were like computer Deep Blue or AlphaGo or whatever playing,
Yeah.
the calculations that we would be doing would far exceed the actual calculations that the average player is making
Right.
in a game.
But you guys probably know that like it's mathematically proven like no matter how much computing power we have, magic cannot be solved just like Go or like chess, right? Because it's so rich of this context. Like in this situation, maybe it's
So
okay to
true.
pump, right? But in other situation, what if I'm at like, what if opponent is literally just go down 2 more lives? Maybe it's correct to pump. Right. Actually, if the opponent just go down 1 life, it's correct to pump.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of like figuring out what possible cards they could have, and how likely those cards are, and then how can you play around them? Because you could actually make figure out, okay, well maybe there are actually 2 commons I can play around. If I pump, maybe the differences might be very small, but they might lean one way or another, and that
Absolutely.
over the long run that could. Because at the end of the day, there are finite cards. He can only have one of cards in Kaldheim, and it has to be within his colors.
But the context is infinite. Like we can like the computer may zoom in down to like 3 possible cards, but there's other contexts like what if opponent has open mana? What if our life total is low?
Yeah, well,
there's many of things.
Well, in this situation, I guess in this exact situation where you have perfect information and they have one card in top deck.
Right.
It's all distilled down.
That's true. That's true. So yeah. So basically, there's definitely a lot of things
beyond that. It just becomes
computer can do exactly. Yeah, I think those things more like the fundamentals. Like the things that are perfect information should be like the fundamentals that we work on.
Right.
To do better.
Like this right now.
Yeah, a lot of learnings, and it's painful to watch. Really, really painful. Yeah. Sorry, Taylor. You were gonna say something.
I just on the topic of the Deep Blue conversation, the hidden information, I believe, is what makes Magic so much more complicated. Like you were saying, having untapped mana, having cards in hand, and as he had also mentioned, in this situation, you have so much more information, giving that almost everything's on board and your opponent has no cards in hand, it's only top decking. But it was more reiteration on the topic that was already being stated.
Yep, definitely.
So, well, I hate to cut this one short on my end, but I will have to go. I hope you guys have a good call, and I'll check in on it later. But...
Cool. Yeah, good talking to you.
Cool, Taylor.
Take care. Yeah, have fun. Good luck if you play Magic tomorrow.
Yes, for sure. Bye-bye.
Have fun.
All right, bye.
Yeah, that sounds like a great.
Adam. I think recently I'm trying to work a lot towards like the fundamentals, like the perfect information. Like I try to like force myself to think like computers to really go through the combat, like do the numbers. Like a lot of the time I just treat these creatures as vanilla creatures and see and figure out the combat outcome.
Nice.
And then later try to add into context. But I think because I was trying to think more along that line, I'm losing like the context of the game sometimes. So I will lose a game where I should be aggressive, but I didn't, or I lose like valuable creatures like this. So before the 5-0, I actually like had like 1-3, 2-3, 0-3. Like and even a couple of the weeks I had okay deck, a pretty good pool. But I made mistakes like like not thinking about, like sometimes I was just not thinking, or I just clicking. Like that's why I force myself to pause and think. And I'm glad that like it sort of worked.
Yeah, it sounds great. I mean, you can see the clock here, like you're definitely using your computing time. It sounds like maybe it's like kind of a form of training. Like maybe you're losing the context, and you've almost taken it too far for a normal game. Like maybe like there's some comparison of like an athlete training somehow, where then like you train hard and then when you go back to actually perform it, you can
Yeah.
tone it back, but then have
Right.
that but then have that muscle stronger. I mean,
Yeah, something like
something
that.
like that.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to. They say you want to practice how you perform, so maybe there's some like danger in it. I don't know, but it seems like it's some sort of like you've retrained your brain in a way. And I mean, if you got the 5-0 results, obviously it's working. It's working somewhat.
Mhm.
So maybe now you just have to think how to get the contacts. I guess that Inga situation is an
Yeah.
example, and like the pump almost is similar.
Yeah. Magic is just so complex. Like, and these situations don't come up again often. Like,
Right. That's true. It's harder to it's different than hitting a tennis ball.
exactly.
Like,
And
yeah, it's harder to get that.
And a lot of situations, even they seem similar, and like even one life total change may completely change things. I think pump the
true.
2-3 in like 90% of the time is correct. And so that's a good heuristic to pump the 2-3
Right.
because we need to get as much as damage as possible when we can. But just because the life total is exactly like
Exactly.
then it completely turn around the decision.
One life, and that's where goes that calculation.
Yeah, definitely.
And like it's not, you don't have to protect it from fight spells because you have bigger creatures you would kill. So it definitely makes sense to just pump it. But when you realize that damage you're risking something for nothing essentially.
Yeah,
It becomes bad, and there are rares and stuff that people do draw them.
yeah, and also if the 8/8 is not there, it's probably it's completely incorrect to pump.
Right. Yeah. See,
Because
that's interesting. That's what I was
yeah.
thinking about the fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that would actually be a perfect. He would be like, yes, like lucky. You got to eat the 2/3. I guess Blizzard Brawl. I don't know. He doesn't have the 3 snow. Snow lands, right?
Blizzard
Brawl doesn't give indestructible, but it's.
he has like the artifacts, the 2 lands, and the Berg Strider.
Is it 3 permanents or 3 lands?
Yeah, I think it's 3 permanents. 3 lands is the black priest. That needs 3 lands.
Okay.
I think.
I'm looking. Snow permanents. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, this snow perm. Cool. Yes, maybe share that deck. I'd like to see that at some point. Oh, what is this here?
This is the pool I'm working on right now. I thought it's pretty interesting pool. It's pretty strong. And I have free splash. I have like free splash for blue and white.
Yeah.
And as you see here, there's a lot of playables I'm cutting. The curve is pretty good. I have tons of tools, and I mean I have 2 white rares, but I don't think I'm interested in splashing them. So the only hover is good. So I think my final build was cutting the Weather Crown and 1 mentor and 1 swamp for the port and behold and the rise the Draugr.
Yeah, it's interesting. Rise is cool with when you have the 2 Glade Walkers.
Yeah.
To get back often. I've liked Rise quite a lot. You have feed and 2 bindings plus the way down. So yeah, Wither Crown I think has really been an underperformer.
Yeah, and Weather Crown is a noble with a shadow.
Oh right, yeah. That also just that's a perfect cut. And Mentor, you don't really have if you were playing like Rally the Ranks and playing. those tokens are great with things like that, but you don't, and you also have a lot of 4-drops. So I could see why the mentor is not great.
Yeah.
I don't know about if you want to stretch your mana with blue. My thought was maybe just play the Skull Raid as like a card advantage.
Yeah, that's possible. Like the port is pretty good.
I wonder if you want to play Narfi, because that card's pretty.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm flashing blue, it's either Narfi or Behold. Like, but I don't have a lot of snow lands. Like I have 5. But I mean, if I'm counting like the bindings, I have 7.
I think I don't know how I feel about splashing. Like, do you really want to play the value lands in a color that it's not in the main color? So you're basically playing an island, and you need another blue to activate it. It seems that like that might be too greedy. But I have heard that you should be playing them more, and they're excellent, and like they're just fantastic. But
it's because this is Rainbow Falls, I automatically have like 3 sources. Like I have the binding can tutor can fetch it, right? And I have Veil to splash as well. I have Frost, so I have like 5 blue sources.
So okay, so that's probably you can get around that. I guess my issue is just playing an island.
No, I'm not playing island. I'm just playing. Oh, I mean playing the port. Yeah.
Well, the port is an island basically. It's an island and it's battlefield tapped.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm playing like 9 green sources and 7 black sources, but the glittering frost can get me black. So and.
But I mean, when you have black 2-drops, it would be nice to have 8 and have. I mean, 8's usually pretty good.
True.
That's like the goal for the 2-drop. So I mean, it could cost you. It's costing you something, I guess. So you need to consider if what it's costing you is worth.
Maybe just don't splash the port. I mean, play a swamp, and still we can still splash blue.
Yeah, that would. Now, if you decide that you want an island to splash heavier blue, then that'd be fine. But then, like, the mana base starts to degrade quickly once you start actually adding lands that aren't duals.
Right.
So I worry when you have a deck with so many 2-drops that wants to curve out in some regard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Yeah, probably maybe I just give up blue. Like I mean, maybe Skull Raid is sort of like half of Behold.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And you have a little bit of card advantage with the binding. I don't know if that really counts.
Yeah, it doesn't really count. Like, I have 0 like real card advantage. That's why I was hoping like Behold can sort of.
Maybe you can still. Maybe you can still just get away with playing Behold, with the Frost and the Falls and the Veil.
Yeah.
And not the port. It's possible.
Yeah.
And then I make sense why you want Raise. That's card advantage. And the Bounding Gold is a Nambo with Shadow. And it's a splash. You could sideboard that stuff in if you need it.
Right. Right.
Like maybe there's a matchup where you
also Fang is really good with going wide strategies with binding. Like last chapter. I give everything that's her. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to cut mentor. Like
I see that. I
so good. That. Yeah.
I wonder if the Jarl is pretty good with the Glade Walkers.
Jarl like the Flash zombie. Yeah, like it's really good because I have a lot of small creatures and it's almost like a removal.
Yeah, and it's like a 2-drop. It's just a pretty decent
combat trick.
Yeah, it's just a pretty good card. What is that more tights? The gold card. It's like a gold card, blue, green, gold.
Oh, first chapter get a 1/1, second chapter get a 1/1.
No, what is the other one below it? The legend.
That's you copy a creature and get 2 counters, and that's double blue. So I don't think I can play that.
Yeah. Icebind Pillar. The blue itself was not too deep. Looks like I mean this looks like a pretty.
I have pillar.
Yeah, that's.
I should just play pillar.
You do have a lot of removal. You don't have
Yeah.
a ton of snow though. Maybe it's not worth it.
I just need one, right? Like
Just need
I have
one.
seven. I have 7 sources to get one.
Well, yeah, I guess the binding counts, but it's pretty slow.
Oh,
It's already a splash and it's kind of awkward. Maybe that's better as a board card.
Yeah.
It is very good, but I don't know if I'm convinced it's worth playing in this deck. In a deck that has a lot of removal already and can't.
True.
Like you have Bound in Golds that's comparable. Sometimes.
Yeah,
Pillar's great.
I always hated when opponent play pillar.
Yeah, maybe there's
so-
because maybe there's a greedier deck that goes deeper into. Maybe there's a deck that plays Ports
blue
and
source.
Behold and Pillar and maybe Narfi. Maybe that deck I guess would cut down on stuff like Mentor and Glade Walker, Way Down, Berserker type stuff. Are those Berserkers actually good?
Oh, these berserkers are decent because I can the Glade Walker can put counters on them.
Okay, that's not horrible. I don't know. Maybe that's actually
And Haver can pump them to 2+2/+0. And then I get a 2/2 and get it returned to my hand.
Okay.
So I get a free 2/2 out of the deal.
Yeah,
I don't. Fantastic.
I don't know if you really want 2 of them. Maybe just having a 2-drop is okay. If it's just a 2/2 is okay, then it's good. But it's a little. Seems
like what do we cut it for? Like we cut it for like Behold. We cut it for like.
For like Skull. So what you cut? Basically, like maybe you just play the Mentor instead of they cut 1 Wither Crown and 1 Berserker for Skull Raid and Raise. I wonder if the Kennel Master is almost playable just to add for curve consideration. Probably not. I guess not.
Right. The Kennel Master more like an aggressive deck. Aggressive card.
I mean, you're kind of aggressive though. You have somewhat of a tempo game plan. Oh, you have the War Master. I didn't notice that.
Oh, right. War
That
Master.
makes Mentor a little better.
Make Mentor better. Make the
Rise
better. Yeah. I don't know. Okay, maybe blue is okay. But not the port. That's true.
I don't know. Maybe there's a deeper blue. But
if I cut a swamp, if I cut a swamp, I still have 8 sources because of the veil. So maybe that's okay.
Right. Yeah, that's the point. Way Down. How good is Way Down? Do you need 2 of them?
I can.
It's great when you can cast it for 1. That's for sure.
Yeah. Like I think my deck will more like trade stuff. Like Shadow, each creature. So I will have
trades
creatures.
Aggressively.
Yeah, and Way Down sort of will probably be very easy to get online.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, I think a deck with removal creatures. Skull Raid seems like it would just be. It's just a powerful sweep card. Yeah, I don't. Maybe there's definitely room to maybe make blue happen. It's not. I hear a lot about these
5-color.
5-color, crazy. Yeah. This can maybe make it work pretty. I guess what's your game plan? Do you play some early stuff? I guess the Finn binding endgame is pretty cool.
Yeah. Finn binding and buyback stuff, Haver artifact, just value like like you +2/+0 on any of my creatures, like it will treat something.
Yeah,
and I get it. Yeah,
it's kind of just a mid-range type.
Yeah,
classic black green. So there's definitely a grindiness to it. But when you have a lot of removal, I guess you don't have a ton, but you have a pretty good amount of removal in the deck.
Yeah.
The fact
binding Rise can
Rise is nice. The fact that binding can get blue is interesting.
Yeah, that's why I have
Maybe you
like
do.
so much blue
Yeah, maybe you
sources.
do just want the Behold. And I guess Narfi feels like it would be. It's like a little bit tough to use here, but it is like such a great late
Yeah,
game. I mean, if you have Glittering Frost, that gets you there almost.
yeah. Yeah, Narfi is definitely something. So in my initial build, I had like both Behold and Narfi and Port. Yeah, but then you know, like I have 52 cards.
Yeah, a couple more
Um,
Snowlands. Yeah,
Pillar is good.
yeah,
Pillar is
Pillar,
good.
maybe
So,
Pillar Beholds. But then you start cutting, that means cutting some of the creatures, and then you lose some of that mid-range ability. Or I mean, you lose some of that
right.
like aggressive ability. It's harder, even harder to close games. And like that blue deck, I guess that blue deck maybe like Port is kind of a nice Port. Ports gives you like a
Yeah,
semi
maybe
finisher.
cut one way down. Maybe cut one way down. Cut with the crown. And the swamp for Port, Behold, and Pillar.
I think I'd want Skull Raid in there.
Yeah.
I think you would just probably want Skull Raid. I feel like that's just a great seal card.
Really, like, I mean, I want the Skull Raid too, but like, what do we cut?
Probably, I would say probably Berserker.
I see.
I think that you just don't have like equipment or really things to reliably.
True. Only have like 3 cards
Just
to
a blank
interact with it.
2/2.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Cool. Adam, I have to go.
Okay.
Nice chatting with you.
Yeah, great
And
chatting
Taylor
with you.
today. Cool.
Yeah, great to hear about your 5.0 and that mental level up. I'm definitely gonna be thinking about that pause next time I play. So yeah, have a great night.
Cool. Thank you.
Take
Bye.
care.
Yeah.
Cool. So Kai's a mental model of taking your downtime. So you make a play every time really the opponent's thinking and you have time to think, you should be thinking about the game, possible things that could go wrong, things that you can do right. What are things you can do to succeed in the game? What are things you can do to fail? What are things your opponents can do to succeed? How can you make them stumble? And beyond that, if you're not positively visualizing in the game or thinking about the details, I really like this idea of closing your eyes, breathing, just zoning into just becoming present is actually something I've found is really important in tournaments and was actually something I was trying to work on about almost 10 years ago. That presence, just realizing where you are, what you're doing, the gravity of the game you're playing, the situation you're in. Tournaments are about, Magic is about more than just the cards. There's the players, there's the emotions, there's the minds doing this, and controlling that is just as important as controlling the cards themselves. Let me see if I have any interesting games that I've played. Not played a ton recently, so I just thought I have my last call. Okay, well, That's going to do it for me for today. So thanks anyone who happens to be watching this, and catch you next time.